So I don't know if you guys have heard the term viral ever before, but that first video I put out on this has got like over 1,000 views. No, I'm just kidding. That is kind of cool that there's a relative amount of interest in this. These old firearms. Man, and the next video is going to be how to field dress a boxer. Hey, upstairs, upstairs. I literally hate my wife's dog. Anyways, it is cool that these these old rifles, obviously that there's kits available to them. I know there's like a big reenactment uh, scene out there with all this kind of stuff, all this 18th century kind of stuff. But it is kind of cool to acquire one of these and kind of have your own little piece of history. Um, I guess I'll move along. I'll kind of show um, what I've been doing on this rifle. And I'll say it again, if you are a person who knows what you're doing with these rifles, you're probably going to cringe when you watch this because I realize that this is probably not the best way to do it, but this is the way that I'm doing it. And at the end of the day, even if it's shitty, it's it's the shitty rifle that I made. So that alone will be kind of cool enough for me. I've mainly been using just like a tapered straight edge to kind of stencil uh, the design that I put on there. And then ever so slowly, I've been taking wood off up to my stencil mark, and trying my best not to remove large chunks of wood. Trying to go slow, but it still happens. I've gouged this thing's probably half a dozen times already, and kind of grimaced and just kept moving. Uh, so this is just the way that I've been doing it. I'm sure there's lots of other ways to also do it, but this is just the chisel set that I have, and just going slow like this, I've just found that this just works for me, not to mess it up. If I try to drag any sharp tool along here, I usually overpower it and I go right through my design. I've seen guys online where they have like a mallet where they kind of tap a chisel along. I don't know. I feel like I would mess that up too. This is kind of slow and meticulous, but at least I know that that line stays right there. And I'm most likely not going to mess it up. So I'll kind of make a little chisel mark there, a little outline, and then ever so slightly, I'll just take off some wood, just right, like immediately kind of next to my line there. I'm not starting way back here and trying to jab this thing close to the wood, just little chunks right up by my line. And then once that line is established, then I kind of come out here and I kind of work on a little bit of the rest of the wood there. I don't have too much left to do on this rifle. This carving is going to take a little bit of time, and other than that, I have to brown all of the iron on here: the barrel, the trigger guard, lock, pretty much everything. trigger guard, lock, a bunch of other parts too, which I also have no idea how to do. I've never done it before. I've looked online. It seems like there's dozens of probably solutions you can use to do it, and probably equally as many ways to do it. So I haven't even gotten that far yet. This is kind of what I've been doing, just little by little, just kind of eating away and kind of turning my design into a relief and kind of bringing it out of the stock. And hopefully not messing it up. You know, just kind of measuring once and swearing twice. And that pretty much gets me to kind of where I am here. Once I kind of moved up to that a little bit, I've been taking one of these curved chisels and I've been kind of working out here and scraping some of the meat of this wood away. And this is where I found that I mess up a lot, because I'll get hung up and I'll put a little bit more effort into it and then I'll just send it right through. But for the most part, I'm really trying to go easy with this. And whatnot. So that's what I've got going on so far. Let me adjust this a little bit. One thing I thought about that I have no idea how I'm going to do it yet are these little designs here, the flowers, whatever. I forget exactly what they're called. I kind of imagine that I'm just going to use a file to get in there, and kind of around the little swirl part. And I imagine that this part right in here will probably be sunken a little bit, so that this round part will be more prominent. So I kind of thought about that. I kind of think that's how I'll do it. I don't really know. I'll probably start removing wood, and I'll probably just start messing it up, to be honest. But you know, I think about it. Some of these rifles are really simple. Some of these rifles had no carvings on them. I almost debated just doing that, just because I could have just gotten it done. But then I thought, you know, I mean, in the future, like, you could hang this thing over a fireplace mantelpiece. It could just be a cool little trinket, if the wife allowed me to, just to kind of put on display. So I don't know. I figured I could just at least take a whack at it. And what's the worst that could happen? The worst case scenario, I just sand this down and then it's just a plain rifle. But so far, I think I've got an okay design. It's not super straight, symmetrical, but that's what I've got so far. I've just kind of been making it up as I go. So that's kind of what I've been doing with this, and I kind of figured that I would just hide a lot of these mistakes here, where there's just not, you can tell I've just been just kind of hacking away at it, things like that, all around the edges where there's just seems to be kind of little chisel marks. I just kind of assumed that a final sanding process will probably do a lot to hide a lot of this. But I don't know, I was kind of surprised that just something I threw up here on a whim snagged a bunch of views within a couple of days. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't really make content per se, but I think there is an interest in this stuff. These old rifles. Any of my buddies that I've showed this to, they've all thought it was cool. Shooting them is fun. The nostalgia aspect of them is fun. So I don't know if I can make a tiny little dent in this community for people that are looking for ideas, things not to do. Maybe you watch this and you're like, oh my god, that guy's destroying that rifle. Um, Compare contrast it to maybe some other DIY YouTube videos you find out there. But I don't know. A lot of the carving videos I've come across are just these talented just gunsmiths where they're just making these works of art. So I guess I figured I would balance out the universe there and just put this out there. So um, I might just do maybe just some short videos, maybe just a couple more about like the process. Maybe just a couple more once I have more of these kind of filed and sanded down, and then maybe just one more about the the browning process and whatever finish I put on the metal parts, and maybe just to finish. So I don't know, maybe like just 4 or 5 quick videos on this thing. I might make. I'd like to do it within the next few weeks, which is crazy. I mean, it's deer season. I'm not much of a hunter, but one of my buddies has kind of gotten me into it, and I really like the idea of taking down a deer with this thing. That would be really cool. Mel Gibson style, from The Patriot, just hiding behind a tree. So, aim small, miss small.